Hello, my beautiful co-creators. Welcome to the Manifestation Queen podcast, where reality bends to meet your frequency. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're doing a live Frequency Wealth masterclass, round 2, and we're getting into the energetics and the frequency secrets that are unlocking our desires with ease and really bringing them into our physical realities. So welcome, and I am so glad you're here. So yeah, today is going to be really fun. I did this call on Tuesday, and I decided to go round 2 because why not? There's so many facets of frequency, and so we can really go so deep in this, and I feel like it just really is so much fun to work with this energy and create the limitless possibilities into our reality. So today we're going to have a lot of fun. So if you're ready, let's go. The chat is open and we are listening. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask any questions. And yeah, so we're going over the 4 pillars of the frequency wealth secrets. And it's so cool because back, hundreds of years ago, it was really difficult to get and obtain this knowledge. And now we have so much access to so many different things. And I've made this framework so simple to where anyone can do it. It's very simple and easy so that things can start to manifest quickly into your life. And so if you've been following me, you know a little bit of my style, but I came up with these 4 frameworks. And yeah, so we're going to get into the secrets of frequency. And I just want to say, how is everyone doing today? It's going to be so much fun, and I want to enjoy our time together. I want to just amplify the energy in the room, the frequency, and really have fun. So before we can bring things into physical form, we have to really get good and clear on our frequency. And our energetic field is always emitting. So we're constantly emitting a frequency, whether we're aware of it or not. And so let's get more aware and let's really use our awareness to work in our favor. So let's see. Do we have any viewers? Okay. And again, if you have any questions, let me know. But we have so many fun things that we're going to do today. So first things first, our Taurus field. So I'm going to stand up and show you guys a little bit about the Taurus field. And I love to do this breath work. I've done it in one of my other classes. And this is called the Taurus field breath work. I hope everyone can hear me good. Okay. So when you do your breath work, you go in, you breathe in through the bottom of your body and you bring it up. And this is what the Taurus field looks like. It's literally going out, kind of like a donut. And so, you can't hear me. And so it's like a donut. It's a big Taurus field completely going up. And I love to do my breath work where I'm imagining my breath coming in up to the top of my body and out, and just using that movement to really crystallize and get in tune and have that awareness with our breath work. So that is something I love to start off with. So if you guys want to do a few breaths with me, we can do that now and get really good with the awareness. So our awareness is our gold. It is the thing that is just worth more than we could ever put a label on. And so the awareness is what we really want to focus on, and it is the key factor to this class. So let's really get into the breath work. And so we'll start at the bottom. So you can kind of bring your hands down here and then up and out like that. And so that's how we're doing the framework for the Taurus field. So do it again. We bring it down and feel it go up and out. You can do a couple more. And just start breathing and have that awareness on your breath and really focus on the energetic field. You can almost start to feel it. You can kind of feel it within your hands. You can feel it within your body. It's this buzzing feel, or maybe just a rhythmic pulse that you can feel. I always feel that in my meditation. And yeah, and so it's really setting the energetic field. A lot of different esoterics traditions can use different words, right? So like in Catholic tradition or even Christian tradition, they have the Holy Grail cup, and it almost has that Taurus field to it. I have some of the things here from my biogeometry brain stands, which have the Taurus field also. I can show you guys. And so this is kind of like the resemblance of the Taurus field also. And it's like that field. So it's integrated. Hold on. It's integrated all throughout nature, all throughout creation, and it's really a universal language, right? It's all patterns. So every thought form is a form of God, and it created everything on the planet. It's a universal pattern language, angles, colors, number, and shape is all the qualities of the universe. And that's really what the universal language is. So what we were created, how everything was created. So that is really what we're working with today. And yeah, so frequency wealth is something so near and dear to my heart because this is where we get to receive more and do less. And I believe that simply by existing, we get to receive the desires of our heart. So yeah, I came up with this framework and I call it The Secrets because it really is so powerful. And I know that like, if you're more of a logical person, technically there's nothing we need to do to obtain any of this, right? So we can throw away all of these teachings and just sit there and we'll still receive because the energetics and the divine favor of God is always in our favor, right? So technically we don't have to do any of this, but when we are here on earth, we tend to be really logical about things, rationalize, try to figure things out, try to plan, try to prepare. And so oftentimes we can get caught in our heads. And so I came up with this framework for people like that. If we're not like a monk meditating on the mountain and we have things going on, we have that inner dialogue in our mind, chatting us up every day, we kind of have to learn how to work with it and get really clear on how it's functioning and use our awareness to be in control with that. So starting with the breath work, I love because if we can control our breath, we can control anything. So those 9 seconds in, 9 seconds out, we can do 7. Numerology is really important when we're working with the qualities in the universe. So 9 is really like balancing for me. But you can do with, work your way up and just see what feels comfortable. And yeah, so start with that and just know that this is simply by existing. This is what you are receiving. Like you're just simply by existing is all you have to do. So since you're existing, you already are capable of doing this work. You're capable of these frameworks and these systems. They're always at play in your favor. And so by existing, you are technically doing all the things that you already need to do. And so just by knowing that, like we can get rid of that sense of jargon or, kind of like that toughness where we're like trying to get into that meditative state. And then you're like, well, why are you still thinking? Turn off the brain. And you can kind of like get, disheartened in certain things. And so just know that you're doing it all right. Simply by existing is all you need to do here. And just be really gentle with yourself in these moments. So yeah. And so I started with this work it's been quite the journey. You know a little bit about the story, but I remember going through a time in my life where things were looking great on paper and they were, and I was really meditating. I found Abraham Hicks's work and she really trained this entire basis and really opened this portal for me where she did it so simple and it really stuck with me. And I was really, really deliberate about this, meditating every day. And so things looked really good on paper. And I realized, if we're going to experience something new, I was also pregnant at the time, trying to get pregnant for a while. So it was such a journey, and finally being pregnant, for the third time, I realized I just want to feel good. So I was working out, I was meditating, and I was really deliberate about what I could control, right? And so when we're going through these situations, like a pregnancy, I had previously my daughter already, so I had a pregnancy before, but every experience is different. And so when we're going through a new experience, there's no ration that we can really plan or foresee, because we think that we have an idea about what we're going to experience. And in reality, when you're working with God and when you're working with the infinite realms of possibility, there's really no rationalizing with that. There's no preparing for it. And it's often really hilarious when we try to plan for these things. I know for me, it can be really funny because we really can't imagine what is going to unfold, which is funny. And it's also like incredible how great things will turn out for us, even in really dark times, right? So just know that we're being shown that grace always. And it's so exciting how infinite they are and how beyond our logical mind things really get to be. So yeah, I remember trying to plan, trying to think about what is really about to unfold here for me. And what I realized is, listen, at the end of the day, I'm just going to focus on working out, feeling good, meditating, and really protecting how I feel, how my baby is feeling. And that was that. And so I said, if my things that I really hoped for and that I really wanted to occur in this moment don't happen, I know that something better will unfold for me. So it's either this or something better. And so big catapulting moments began happening. And I like to say, like, bombs started to go off. And I just continued to stay in my relaxed knowing, because essentially this is what these frequency secrets are taking us to, is to that relaxed knowing. So no matter what, we get to relax and we get to stay in that knowing and know that it's unfolding in our favor. And so I stayed in that relaxed knowing, and I said, it's either this or something better. And yeah, and so things started to shift rapidly, because again, when we ask, it's already done. So in that moment, things will start to shift. So be ready, but also get excited, because it's only shifting in your favor. So are you guys ready for secret number 1? Who's ready? Let's go. So number 1 is breath work, right? We harmonize our field. We put our awareness on our breath. Number 2 is ask. So what do you want? And what is the quality, right? So the quality of what you want, working on the energetic field. And so in that moment, you can feel, okay, what feels good? What would feel good for me right now? What would feel good for me in a year? What do I really desire? And what will make me, what would bring me more of that comfort, safeness, whatever it is that you're desiring? And what is that quality, and what do I want? So what can I do right now to feel my best? And choose the better feeling thought. So when you're meditating, when you're in this first step of the secrets, you want to always choose the better feeling thought. So even if it's something neutral, there is an emotional guidance scale. And so when you're sitting in that moment and you want to get really clear on what it feels like and how it will affect you. So that's the ask. And yeah, and so what can you do to feel better? And what can you do in any moment? We can always choose that better feeling thought to go up on the scale. And oftentimes, if we have to be neutral, that's really perfect too. We'll get into that in a little bit. But the neutrality of something is that baseline. And you can imagine an infinity sign, which is super balancing in your mind, and just be neutral if you can't feel ecstatic at the moment, right? Because it has to feel true to you. It has to feel real, and it can't feel like you're out of reach or it's not actually normalized in your body. And so that is step 1. Let's see if I have the emotional guidance scale on here. No, I don't, but we have the color psychology wheel, right? So like every color has different qualities. Every archangel has qualities. And so we can really tap into these qualities in that moment to really help us feel better. Like red light therapy is really great. Getting out in the sunlight, things like that. Just any warmth on your skin or anything to get you in a better feeling state, because what you feel is what you get, and what you get is how you feel. So that's number 1. And so then you would assume, right, after you ask, you have to assume. It's the law of assumption. And so you're assuming immediately that the wish is fulfilled. Done. Ask and it's given. You know, there's tons of Bible scripture on this. There's tons of esoteric teachings on this. Creation is complete. It is done. The wish has been fulfilled. Okay. So then that's step 2. Are you guys ready for step 3? After that, we have to really get in tune with the art of allowing, right? And that's really can be a tricky part, is really getting into, am I going to sit back and surrender and trust and allow that things are working in my favor? And also know that everything is a portal for the precision of your asking. So are you guys following? Is this landing for you? Oh my gosh, Ben, our Zoom is not, the video is not live on our Zoom. It is? Oh, now it's on my screen. Okay. And so then the art of allowing is really getting into that inner trust, and that inner knowing, like I said, is, now it's echoing. Okay. Is essentially the end goal, right? That's the main objective, is to be so relaxed in that inner knowing that nothing can take you out of that space. Nothing can derail you or waver your knowing. Okay. And so the art of allowing is something where we can just simply allow things to unfold, no matter how they look, no matter what you want to judge them as, no matter what you want to label them as. You know that it's complete, the wish is fulfilled, and the end, that's it. It's perfection, right? So once we get to experience the portal for precision of our asking, things can look like either what we wanted or what we didn't, and we can often label them, but the most important thing is to stay neutral in these times. And so I know I used to think, okay, you know, this like breakup is not what I desired. And so I would really wish and hope and just say, okay, I'm going to focus on my inner knowing. I'm going to meditate, and I would imagine what I wanted. And I knew if it wasn't this, it was something better. And so, yeah, just stepping into that knowing is so powerful. And again, the contrast is really just sharpening your vision. So every person that you experience, every experience that you go through is really just bringing you more clarity on that precision of your asking, so that it can be perfectly designed for you. And so if you can stay neutral, that's where the flow will continue, right? You're not putting any blocks in the river. You're not putting any blocks in the stream. And so you're able to continue flowing. The moment that you have the reaction or try to put the judgment on, why is this happening? What is this? This is not what I planned for. Those are where you kind of put the block, and that can create the stagnation of the flow. And so sitting in that neutrality, coming back to the center, coming back to the breath, putting that awareness on the breath is so, so crucial here. And having those tools in your toolbox, right? So that's number 3. And then realizing that every thought form is a creation from the mind of God, right? So every thought that you are thinking, every feeling has that quality like we talked about. And so that quality is a thought form, and it can bring into reality. It can come into form. It is a thought form. It can make a physical form. And so when you're really having that awareness on your thoughts, letting them flow, not bringing them, not defining them, not reacting, letting them flow through. Because listen, everybody thinks things, right? Like, we're not perfect. And the good news is we're always being shown grace. So when you can just give yourself that grace instead of getting so caught up on what it is that's happening, what it is that you did wrong, and just know that you can always choose to continue to flow because there's no lack. That is the power. So things started to really look like undesirable in my reality, but I knew that things were going to unfold in my favor, and boy, did they. Things were catapulting me. I kept saying, listen, if this is meant for me, I can't fuck up what's meant for me. And so things would just continuously catapult me into, what I had to do next, to the point where it was so clear that this was not meant for me, and I had to, choose and walk away from the situation. But everything lined up perfectly. Like, I didn't have to come up with this escape plan or this, any detrimental, like, crazy plan. Like, this was all laid out for me in front of my eyes without any force. So I just want to really put an emphasis on when you're in this inner knowing and this trust and relaxed state working with this frequency, things are really going to rapidly shift, but it's only so that you can call in that more precise and desire that you really want. So we don't have to explain, prove, do more. We can just simply relax in that, which is so fun and so relaxing to know, like, there's really nothing more we have to do here. So the inner knowing is outweighing our fear, right? And so even though I was so fearful, like, I thought that things were crashing, I didn't want this reality. I wanted to have, I had a whole different plan, but I realized just to sit back. And like I said, everything worked out more and more and more in my favor. And then, of course, it led me down this whole rabbit hole of manifestation. And now I get to be here to guide women and to be the version that I needed back then. So never underestimate the power of where you're going, because it is your gold and it's happening in your favor. And there's no fucking it up. So that's the best part. What else, guys? What are we going to talk about? Let's see. Yeah, and the funnest thing that I learned recently was the Holy Grail is actually our energetic field. Like, that Taurus field is like the divine flow that I'm talking about that's consistently emanating in our favor. Like, there's so many traditions that talk about this. And I realized that Holy Grail, that cup, is literally the same. And so shape is really prevalent in this work. And just to be aware of the shapes, of the qualities of how things are making you feel, like it's coming with this quality. So really being aware of that data feedback system. It was designed for you for this reason. So working with it is so fun. And like, what else? Let's see here. Also, by doing this and getting aware with this, we're creating more time. So on Tuesday, we talked about the anti-ambivalence and getting rid of that second guessing, the uncertainty or unsureness of whether you like something or whether you don't, and kind of just, holding on to things because of comfort, because of this is how they are. And when you're working with this frequency, when you're in line and in tune, there is no ambivalence. Everything is really great because you're in tune with your purpose. And so you can create more time into the passions, into the things that light you up, by getting rid of that second guessing, doubtful things that you wish you could be at home in your pajamas watching Netflix. Like, why am I here at this table? I would rather be home doing my red light therapy or pouring into my art, and fueling that life force energy. And then delivering on a level of excellence, because this is what we're meant to do, you guys. So yeah, like recognizing that and really being aware of it. And there's nothing wrong with it. Again, we don't have to label it. We don't have to label it good. We don't have to label it bad. It's just simply neutral, and it's constantly guiding you towards where you're meant to go. So what else? You guys have any questions? Anything that we are thinking about? Ben, you have any questions?
When did you start all this?
When did I start?
Yeah.
All what?
this feeling, this course, I mean, these steps, when did this just come to you? Or
when I was like 14, I started practicing Buddhism. So I was really it was a modern day law of attraction type of practice. And that really opened the seed for me. But then I went down my teenage years, but it was always ingrained, like things are working in my favor. I get whatever I want. Like it was something that was so ingrained in me. But this work, I really started to uncover it probably 5 years ago, where I was super deliberate. I had that time to really pour into this and really get one-on-one with all of it and just really get to know it. So I would say 5 years.
And it seems, I assume you keep growing, right? Every year,
yeah.
you get more and more into it, I guess. Is that?
Yeah, I was just laughing after our last episode with the girls that we did, Amber and Krista. You know, it was so fast. Like when I say things will catapult you, this is what I'm talking about, because I went from being pregnant, and I went from thinking if I just followed the blueprint of this Bible, I wouldn't be a single mom. I wouldn't be through the suffering that I had to go through. I wouldn't have the sadness, and I would have less, suffering if I followed that blueprint, because I thought the Bible was the blueprint to the least suffering, which I still do believe in. I do believe it's like one of the most advanced teachings, and I reference it, and the quality of the Bible is something that like really lights me up. Like I love it. So, but quickly after that, I realized, I wanted to take a course on manifestation. And so I said to one of my friends who was super woo-woo, very almost like an ascended master type guy, I said, what course could I take on manifestation? I want to learn the science of it. And he said, biogeometry, which is the most advanced courses on sacred geometry, which is the language of the universe. And so I, went into that. But this was all happening so quickly. This was such a bridge of incidents that were just unfolding. It was catapulting me, boom, 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 from one place to the next, where I realized, wait a minute, God isn't punishing me for anything. Like I'm here because I'm meant to meet him face to face in these moments. And that's the simple fact. Like I was just meant to get deeper into this and into that knowing, to meet myself and to meet God and to meet this version of me. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't suffering. It was actually
each path that you were on was there for a reason.
Yeah.
To get you to every place, to get you where you are right now.
Right. And like some women or, some people can really think that, oh no, the Christian way is the only way. But there's so many beautiful esoteric teachings and traditions that would never think that. Like the original Christians, I don't think would ever say that it's wrong to have other teachers, because I think that they almost have like similar qualities. Now, I definitely consider myself Christian, but through all of this, I realized there's nothing that you can do that would make God want to punish you, that would make God want you to suffer. It's only when he wants you to meet yourself in those moments, to really know who you truly are, what you're capable of, and get closer to that intimacy with him is really the only thing that's happening there.
Yeah.
Whether you're celibate, whether you're married, whether this, whether that, like there's always going to be those moments that he wants to bring you closer. So I just thought that was funny because I know a lot of people can get ruffled up about that and think that sinning, they like to really attach to being punished. I don't know why. And I guess I did it too. So I thought, you know.
I heard something the other day, and I'm just going to quote it or mention it, but, it's talking about sinning, talking about, when you look at a cross on some people and they have Jesus on the cross, which I do myself, they're glorifying him being hung in a sense, right? Mm-hmm. But there's crosses that don't have him because he's still there, right? So that is like a perfect example of like sometimes it's such a subtle thing, but if Jesus is hanging, it's like you're almost glorifying that he died. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, he was risen and he's still there, right? So there's like two sides of when you were saying the sinning, we're constantly in that mindset of thinking that way.
Some would actually say that the cross is a representation of an erection.
Really?
Yeah. And what it means is the creation of life is what it actually represents in the ancient and the original text. So really, when I look at a cross on someone's neck, that's what I think about. And I know it sounds crazy, but it's actually the life force, right? It's really the seed, the creation, the sperm, right? Like the egg is really the creation of life. And so that's what the cross actually represents in original text. If you dissect it and go to the original text and look at the meaning of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
It makes sense now that you said it.
Yeah. Cool. So I always kind of giggle when I see people wearing the cross. I'm like, haha.
Well.
And I love it. I also thought the blood of Jesus was this. I kept wondering, why do I pray to the blood of Jesus? And it has this like, kind of negative connotation or stigma around blood. Like we think of the death, but really it's the life force. It's the life. So just the dogma can have such a way of trying to put limitations on things and can almost bring more suffering, in my opinion. So everyone is obviously allowed and more than worthy of coming up with this on their own. But yeah, I'm so grateful that I was able to catapult and just sit back and enjoy the ride and be like, all right, now what, because this is what we're really working with is like that infinite realm of things. And why be limited to any of it? Because, frankly, Jesus wasn't doing that. He was exploring, he was open arms, learning and practicing and really focusing his awareness on what was important to him. And that's why, his name is still shouted on mountaintops to this day because people know the power of him. And that's really the power of us. Like we are his seed. We are the house of the God, like of God is in us. Like we're his extension. And so, I don't want to piss off too many people, but essentially we are his equivalent because he created us. Like we are just his extension and that is within us. Like we are made out of him. We are pieces of him. And, I won't say I am God because that I just still have a hard time with saying that, but essentially like that is our being. Like that's really what we are. Like what Jesus only came here to show us that was possible for us too. Not that he was any different than us. That was him leading by example of who we are and what we're capable of doing. So thank you for the question.
I love it. Yeah,
Ben.
Of course.
So yeah, and I just think it's so fun. So when we know this, chaos just organizes, fear dissolves, life increases, identity stabilizes, creation is aligning, right? Truth is clarifying. And so that's what God's definition of frequency is. And the Greek and Hebrew text are really sacred geometry. It's the symbolic symbolism of consciousness is what we're tapping into when we're looking at Hebrew. It's the representation of state of consciousness. It's the depictions, the patterns, the Hebrew letters. And so every thought form is the mind of God. And so that is literally what we're working with here. That is what we are. And so when we can tap into this, we know that like our limits do not exist. And so why limit ourselves to anything? Why limit ourselves to anything? Turn up the brilliance, just like my Marianne Williamson quote, like we are not here to play small. We are here to rise to our brilliance. And we can really incorporate this into our business, into our health, into our family, into our everyday, our day-to-day function, and just let it do its thing, you know? It's already finished. It's done. And just go from that, operate from that center. And so, yeah, I love the circle and the dot made by the Pythagorean teachings. It's really that center, and that's the single cell that we're created from. It's the cell that multiplies, and then eventually becomes us. And that's exactly how the world was created too, right? It was just a simple spark of light. And so it's all connected, and things get to be exactly how we create them. So yeah, and I just have so much fun with this and dissecting the scripture, but not only that, just how it makes me feel, and really feeling with what works best for us. Like we're all created uniquely. So we all have different preferences, different data feedbacks, and different essential, preferences and like beliefs. And that's so cool because every one of them can bring so much value if you just, work with them and are open to them. Your frequency can really amplify. So let's go into what is happening as far as this and how this really changes things for your standards, right? Because when you have this frequency and you are deliberate and really honing in on the qualities of your frequency, your standards become a little higher, right? Because you know what you're worthy of, you know that there's no limitations. And so everything else just starts to fall away. Like I said, the path will come and unfold in front of you, and everything else will literally fall away. You will not have to do anything, and you can walk away with grace. You can walk away with love. You can walk away. The bridges don't need to be burned, right? So that's the fun thing with this frequency is the clients that aren't meant for you will leave. The relationships that aren't meant for you will drop away. Anything that's not meant for you will not stay because you can't fuck it up. And so the energetic hygiene is really keeping that standard and emitting it and letting things come out of alignment, because that's how you cleanse them, letting them burn off, letting them go, and allowing them to leave, thanking them for that season and that experience and for sharpening your precision. That's exactly what they did. They were here to serve you, and your precision has now been sharpened, And even though things, you want to clench onto them, you want to hold on to them, and you're attached to the outcome of what you dreamt of, just know that you can't ration with this force. You can't ration with what has been exceedingly and abundantly planned for you. So I now have realized this is such a game changer. There's nothing I need to do. I can focus on my frequency, get really excited about the things that light me up, and apply this to my business. And I can apply this to my life. I can apply this to my friendships. And when I started to invest in myself and know that my standards are limitless, there was no fear involved in anything, right? And so I invested $30K into one of my mentors. And when I say catapulting, things were catapulting. I've just shifted in so many ways. I just watched one of my first live videos the other day, and it was so funny to see myself. This was 2 years ago, and it was hysterical. The tone, the vibes, the frequency, everything was really funny, and it was just such a such a drastic change because of the environments that I'm putting myself into. And so I do have a little surprise and a little thing that I want to touch on for everybody that I came up with, because when I realized, like, we need these versions of us to hold the standard for us, to support us, to see us for that highest version self, right? To know that we can't shrink because we have missions to fulfill. We have purposes, we have God-given capabilities and gifts that we have to act on, and we have legacies to build. And so I came up with the High Vibe Society. You guys probably have heard about it, and it is an application-based only thing. We do want to make sure that you're a right fit, so it is application-based. And what we're doing is so exciting, because why don't we fuel our confidence and revamp ourselves, right? Like, as women, we go through so many different things, and we need that stable foundational group who can see us, who have been there, who have done the things that we want to do, who are going the places that we want to go, and who can sit there and look you in the eye and tell you, I went through this, and this is who I am now, and you can too. And this is how to do it. This is how I did it. This is how you're going to do it. This is foolproof. I made these mistakes, and you can literally jump timelines by learning from a mentor, from a group of people who are speaking the same language as you, who are, so devoted to their craft, and who will be there for that foundational and stable and ascension path where you can really just light up and step into your brilliance and to normalize it. So I created the High Vibe Society, and it's something that I know is such a game changer to me, and that I wish so deeply I had, 5 years ago. I don't know where I would have been if that was the case. And so, yeah, I realized there's no more holding on to friendships who don't speak my language. It dulls my life force. I can't step into the brilliance that I know I'm meant to. It's like going back to kindergarten after being in a PhD, and you're like, no one's speaking my language here. Where am I? And so you have to really get into these rooms with the women who are doing the things that you're doing. So the founders members are open for applications, and I wanted to invite you all in to the most brilliant rooms where we really just pour into ourselves, where we get to have that standard and hold it and maintain it, and also break the tops off of it, because it gets to get better. We get to grow, we get to expand, and we're grateful, but we also get to get more and have it all. And there's no compromising, there's no sacrifice. It's illogical. And that's what we're working with here. So just get ready for the most insane, catapulting moments to just blow the tops off of your life, of your business, of your family, and all the things that we're integrating this work into, whether it's our frequency, whether it's our strategy, whether it's our scaling, our artistry, right? Like everything that we're creating and co-creating to become the reality of our lives, making our precise, asking a little bit clearer, and just knowing it's all a portal to where we're meant to go. And so I invite all the founding members to join me and to send the application. I will have it all linked below. But just know that we do want to make sure it's a good fit, because it's so important to us to know that you're fighting for your dreams, that you're arguing for what you know you're meant to do here. And I'm a single mom, so I get it. Like, I do all of this while having 2 kids full time. And sometimes I wonder where I get the time, right? But my capacity is so expanded because this is my purpose. This is my mission. And so I get to expand time by getting rid of all the ambivalence, by getting rid of all the second guessing, and by getting rid of the things that do not light me up, so I can really pour into my excellence. and surround myself around these things and these people that will lift me up and that will speak my language and then have that foundational support. So yeah, as much as I know how busy we are as moms, I also know how important it is to be that example and to know that you get to stretch your capacity for what's important, and your children are watching, your legacies are watching, and this is something that is generational. So yeah, our baseline of miracles is what we have in the High Vibe Society. We get to surpass any expectations beyond any ration or logic. We get to have a community home base, right? We get to have identity practices where we get to build our self-esteem, our confidence, our brands. We get to rebuild ourselves, and not just block by block, but like I said, by infinite blocks, right? And it just becomes so unrecognizable to who you were even 5 months ago, 6 months ago. I mean, I was mortified of who I was even a year ago. So that's the type of expansion we're doing here in the High Vibe Society. And if I could even put a dollar amount on that, I mean, I don't know where that dollar amount would come from, because I don't think it exists. So having that unwavering support, the masterminds, the monthly accountability exercises, right? The scalable business strategy, the photo shoots, the branding days, and the retreats that we're doing, right? It's like these soulmate connections with friends that will be in your life forever, because you just have this connection and you feel it from the start of your meeting, right? Within 5 minutes, you will be laughing and crying and realizing, I've never felt so seen, so heard in my life. Where did these people come from? And they've just been those connections that you were dreaming of, right? So like, what kind of amount of dollar amount is that worth? I don't even know. And even podcast opportunities, right? You can get business conference opportunities to speak on stages, to share your message, to really have more visibility on the things that are important to you, mentorship, coaching, and all the things. And so I also wanted to share that if you do apply for the founding members and you are accepted for the annual access, you get a 5-day Costa Rica retreat with the girls to celebrate the opening of this society. So it's a 5-day retreat and everything will be taken care of. It's covering mind, body, spirit, soul, energetics. We do energetic field harmonization. We get to really pour into ourselves. We get to have fun. We get to let go. We don't have to be the glue for everything all the time. We get to really relax in that state of surrender and just have fun, and to become that energetic, sustainable frequency that we can hold and sustain our desires, and also expand, like I said, beyond the limits, beyond the ceilings, right? And so this is where you'll feel replenished and where you get activated and ready to take on the world. One of my clients who did this is already on his way to $200,000 in 2 months. So this is really crazy how fast people can remove the limits on their life and just be open to the infinite possibility of what we're working with here. So I'm also adding one more bonus. This is only for a limited time, right? So if you are the founding member, you do get a one-on-one coaching with me, which is valued at $5,000. So it's a hour-long coaching call where we get clear on your vision, on your business format, on your frameworks, and whatever it is that you want to focus on, whether it's energetics, whether it's business, family, co-parenting, co-creating, whatever it is that you want to do. And so it's going to be the most expansive society you've ever seen. And we do resort days, and we do spa days, we do dinner parties, we do all the things, but essentially it's online. So you get to tune in online bi-weekly and monthly for our fun masterminds. We're doing the Shekinah experience right now, which has been insane to really step into that brilliance, into that quality of radiance, and do it at a level of unapologeticness. And so, Yeah, not only are you gaining more time, you're gaining confidence, excellence, creative genius, right? There's no more energy leaks and there's no more confusion. So you're literally catapulting into this next best version. And so I will have the link here. And after we go over your application, you will hear back within 24 to 48 hours. And we cannot wait to celebrate you. You'll also receive the vault where we have the soul map to destiny blueprint. It's a customized blueprint designed to your daily alignment and devotion. It's custom to you. And so this is something that I literally poured my heart into, and it is such a game changer for all of my clients. We also have the destiny method and the royal embodiment teaching. We release the costumes of perfectionism, the people pleasing, and shrinking into smallness. We do the coronation call, the crown visualization, the recognition week. We have so much in this membership for you guys to really go beyond your baseline. So if you're ready to become the best version of yourself, the world becomes better. You make the world a better place when you step into your brilliance. And I just think, and maybe you can relate, like, do you think the world would be better if you have more money in your business, more wealth in your frequency, more wealth in your brilliance? Could you help more people? Could you be a better version of you? Could you compound and have a ripple effect all throughout the world and all throughout your family and every person that you interact with? It affects everyone at such a larger scale, and it goes beyond what we can fathom. And so this is what we're doing when we're stepping into the High Vibe Society and Frequency Wealth, you guys. So thank you all for being here. Check out the application, flirt with it, just check it out and see how it feels, and really feel how all of this feels on you and what it could be like for you to embody this best version unapologetically, right? Without any stagnation, without any blocks, and just completely blow the top off of your life. So whether you join or not, listen, this is stuff that I've been working on for years that I have embodied as my norm. So my life won't change as much, but I know that just witnessing my clients transform has been so fueling to me, and watching them step into their brilliance, into their new standard, into their new baseline of miracles has been something that I can't even explain. So you can stay where you are, or you can come with us. And so this is your official invite to the founding members rate, and I hope to see your application soon. And I just want to remind you all of the steps, right? So of the frequency secrets, we are asking, we are getting clear on our energetic field, our breath work, what feels good, our qualities of how it feels to us and what we want. Getting really clear on that ask. Choosing the better thoughts, right? Going into the assumption. It's complete. The wish has been fulfilled. It is given. Ask and it is given. The art of allowing. Getting into that trust, into that surrender, and knowing that everything is a portal for the precision of our asking, our contrast. It's not good, it's not bad, it's literally our portal to where we desire, where we're going, because it's already complete, it's already known, everything is already there for us. And there's nothing finite about this. It's not doing anything but serving you for your ask, right? So the thought forms are from the mind of God. It all has a pattern, it all has a quality. So use your awareness to guide all of that, to get really in tune with the frequencies and let life surprise you. Welcome to the infinite realm of possibilities and frequency wealth. You are now rich as fuck in your frequency. So I love you guys. Mwah, and I will see you next time. Bye.